The grass might look greener on the other side, but it's probably because they use an Instagram filter. Or they just maybe hired a professional gardener, or maybe their grass is actually fake. I don't know. The point is, you rarely see the whole picture. Welcome back to Lifestyle 101. I'm Silver Luna, your local internet vixen. And today I have a very special guest I'm really excited to introduce you to, my friend Cherry. I am excited to get her opinions on comparison, how to recognize it, how to handle it, and preventing it from intruding into your thoughts. So, welcome, Cherry.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to be here.
Of course, I'm so excited to have you here. I love to get your perspective and something as hard to deal with, such as comparison. It can be a really
Mm,
tricky subject to tackle. I feel like you're the perfect person to get your input. So, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a good topic.
I agree. Awesome. Well, let's start by acknowledging something fundamental. Comparison is a natural human instinct. Everybody deals with it. It's actually hardwired into our brains. Back in the day, like way back in the day, caveman days, comparison was a survival tool. So, we had to evaluate others to figure out if we were safe, if we had enough resources, and if we needed to level up in our tribe. It was literally survival. Now, in the lifestyle is not quite that intense, but it is definitely something that is more prevalent than I feel that I see out in regular everyday life in the vanilla world. So, first, I want to kind of dive into the differences of the lifestyle comparisons versus regular everyday vanilla lifestyle comparisons. So, I'll ask you, Cherry, what do you feel like you see the most when you first got into the lifestyle? Did you feel like you had a lot of comparisons with other people, or did you feel like others did that to you?
Mm, I think exactly like you said, comparison is so natural, especially when you're in a new situation. I mean, first things first, you're like stacking yourself up against everyone around you to kind of either maybe find that common ground, or is this somewhere that I want to be? Is this somewhere that I'm going to be accepted? Is this like yeah, I think comparison from the jump, it's like the first experience you have in the lifestyle. And I definitely have felt that and continue to feel it as much as I try to overcome really dwelling on comparison. Wait, your question was, do I feel have I felt it in the lifestyle?
Hmm.
Yeah, starting out, definitely. I mean, everything from like how I look to am I attractive enough, like just my energy, am I saying the right things, like seeing other people that have a lot of people around them, like why? And do I have those same qualities? Is that what I want? Just, yeah, there's tons of comparison.
You're right. Um, Especially because like in the lifestyle, it's like another version of the dating pool. So the difference though is that once you're dating somebody, you're not necessarily taken and off the table. So now like everybody has more, not necessarily competition, but that's how it feels whenever you're comparing yourself against others.
Yeah.
It's I think probably not the most healthy mindset to be in.
Totally. I mean, and then also like if you have a partner and then you know that you're in this lifestyle because you are wanting to experience even more in life, there's also comparison, like comparing other people to your partner. And it's like that was a part of it for me too, where it's like, well, I don't want to be or like play with someone that's not as attractive or not as funny or not as good in bed or something like as my partner. So, and then people are having those thoughts about me too.
Hmm.
Um and we kind of talk about the lifestyle that like it is a place where you get to be really choosy. And so there can be some, I think the comparison can be healthy to a certain extent. But yeah, you don't wanna stay there.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I think that it's healthy to the extent that like something common in the lifestyle is more health benefits, getting active and finding new ways to present yourself is like super common because the first thing that you do whenever you come into the lifestyle is look at all of the people that look better than you or that have more money than you. And you're just like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, how do I measure up to that? Why would somebody choose me over them? And, maybe that's a large part of what started me on my goddess journey, speaking of which.
Ooh, I love that. That's gold.
Yeah.
It's so true. And I think every single one of us goes through it. And I think this is a really great podcast, like talking about comparison here, because yeah, there is that healthy side of it, but we don't want to just like get stuck in the comparison mode of like, okay, well, I'm not measuring up, so like I guess closing yourself off from opportunities or people, because we also all have first impressions, but those might not always be correct and true. And like, how many
Mm-hmm.
times have you compared yourself against someone and you feel like you don't measure up, and then you get to know them, and then you're like, oh, wait, actually, I was wrong about that.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, it happens all the time. Comparison is the thief of joy. I mean, I remember first starting in the lifestyle, and I think the reason that we were able to get so far into it so fast is because it was the same time that I had started my OnlyFans, which for any new listeners, I no longer have. So it's not out there anymore. um,
Sorry.
but because I had my OnlyFans page at the time, it helped me open up a lot more online to like what I can expose. And at the same time, there's a lot of saturation in the OnlyFans market. So it became quickly a competition whenever I first started because all I could think about was how do I get my page out? How do I become better known with my OnlyFans before really diving into the lifestyle? And then finally, I started to realize that it was taking a major toll on my mental health and on the relationships that I was trying to build in the lifestyle
Mhm.
because I'm letting my OnlyFans persona supersede that lifestyle community that I was trying to build this relationship. I was more worried about getting the attention on the groups because of my OnlyFans page and trying to get it promoted than I was about like actually building that relationship. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, totally. Because that's what can happen when we're like dwelling on the comparison and then changing ourselves to measure up to what our perceived notion is of what that comparison is, so that we feel like we're, I don't know, elevating our status or who we are, but it might not be our most authentic selves, and
Mm-hmm.
that's always going to bite us in the ass, and not in a good
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Definitely. This is definitely a learning lesson too, because it starts to eat at your ego, which I think is a good thing, but then it starts to eat at your self-worth. And
Yeah.
then it's like, what is even the point? Like, let's
Right.
go back to the basics. Why am I in the lifestyle? It's not because I want to be with the hottest couple or be the hottest couple. It's because I want to be happy and enjoying these new adventures with my partner.
Yeah, totally. And like, how many times have you seen, we've all been in situations where it's like, oh shit, they're the hottest couple. And the thing is, like, they know it, and then they kind of act in that way. And they're
Mm-hmm.
acting kind of disingenuinely, or maybe that's just genuinely who they are, but it's like a bummer because it's like, oh shit, like, you're hot, and so many people have told you that. Oh, and that's another thing. Like, people in the lifestyle are so much more open about, oh, you're so beautiful, you're so hot, you're so sexy, I want to do this with you, I want to do that, that it can like kind of either like give you a big head, or sometimes it can get like kind of overwhelming. Then it's like, okay, well, so that I need to continue being in this way to continue to get these compliments and like this attention, even if it's not like what you're wanting. And like what you want within the lifestyle can change from minute to minute.
Man, that is so true. Sometimes it can work against you though, because like whenever you start thinking about it in that way, then you start trying to be like you're saying, do you start behaving in a way that people are, what's it called, like a bias, confirmation bias. People
Yeah.
start treating you one way, so you continue the behavior that way, and then at that point, even if it's no longer serving you, you still continue to behave that way, but it can then cast a more negative shadow on you long term, because instead of just changing and growing with yourself, you're kind of pushing against it. And then in the long term, I feel like usually it ends up like that person that was the hottest, or that couple that was the hottest couple, usually ends up having issues or something comes to light that it's like, oh, there were skeletons in the closet. It's like you should have just taken a moment to slow down and stop trying to be that hottest person, because comparing yourself is the thief of joy. It's going to take it all away.
Yes, 100%. I
So,
totally agree with you.
great points.
Yes.
Well, and another thing in the lifestyle that I've personally noticed is that I don't feel like people are as flashy. And I guess it depends on the couple. It's completely subjective. But
Mhm.
for the most part, like the people that aren't comparing themselves to others are usually the ones that are pretty mellow and don't show off, like as soon as you meet them, like all of these material possessions, and try to prove their worth to you within the first 3 lines of meeting you, instead of actually getting to know you and understand who you are.
Yeah. Ooh, I totally agree with you there. Like when you get that vibe that someone's coming up and they're like giving you the vibe that they have something to prove, or like look at all my friends and look at how we do this, or like have sex, or like my wife will give she gives the best blowjobs, and I like all of this, like, yeah, flashy and like showy stuff. It just gives me a second to pause and think, like, I wonder why they feel like they needed to, I don't know, stake that claim or to put themselves in that light, instead of it just naturally progressing to that, or me getting to come to that conclusion without them being like, this is me. And do you know what I'm saying there?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That usually ends up becoming a red flag
Yeah,
more than
totally.
a
Like,
turn
why
on.
do you feel like you have something to prove? That tells me that there's something that you're needing to hide or overcome, instead of just being chill with exactly who you are, like you said. That, yeah, I've found that in the lifestyle that most of the time, I'm not saying that if someone's like loud and funny and like flashy that they're automatically a red flag for me, but 100% of the time, the people that they don't have that frantic energy of like, see me, and they're just who they are in every moment and chill, and the people that just have that sense of they just are who they are and take it or leave it, those typically, in my experience, have been, yeah, the most solid people that I've met in the lifestyle and the safest.
Yep, I definitely agree with that. So that leads us to those particular types of people, actually. How can we help them feel more confident? How can we help them break out of this comparison cycle and start feeling better in their own skin?
Mm, yeah, because that's what I want for everyone in the lifestyle. Because for me, it's been such a source of confidence. Like, where else am I going to wear like the sluttiest, awesomest outfits, dance around in lingerie with my friends? Like, everyone is so kind and like, you look so good and all of that. And so, if the lifestyle isn't a place where you are feeling confident, oh my God, I want to help work through that with you, because like that's what it should be. It's an extra on top of your life, and it's here to make you feel good. And if it's not making you feel good, why not?
Exactly. Oh, exactly. Like going to the club and just dancing freely and being in the craziest outfit that you can think of and not caring if it shows anything, because you're not going to get kicked out of the club for it. It's
Yeah.
like the most freeing thing. And finding people, a community in that club, I felt like there was so much, we're talking about comparison, but in comparison, I felt like there was so much better of a community that I felt going to lifestyle clubs than going to regular vanilla clubs.
Oh my
And
God.
I think it's because people felt more of a sense of connection
Mhm.
than necessarily vanilla clubs. That's typically like bar friends, people that you're gonna, you know,
Yeah.
not spend a lifetime with.
True. Or, and like at lifestyle clubs, at least there's this one layer of open mindedness. Like, we have all decided that we are in an alternative from what mainstream society accepts as normal. We all know that we're not part of that right now. So like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there is that kind of camaraderie. And then also thinking about all the ways that it can be empowering. And so listeners, I hope that if you're not feeling that it's empowering, that you reflect on why and like what you can to change. But like, yeah, dressing in stuff that you would never wear anywhere else, feeling so sexy is so empowering. All the different like roles that you can take within it. Like I love when I mean I love anyone that in any role in it, but like when women are like dominatrix and just
Mm-hmm.
like you can just see like the power and like confidence that they have, like even if you're just a dominatrix and you're just wearing the clothes, like just embodying that. Yeah, all those things, the empowerment behind like having like sex with your partner in front of a bunch of people, that can be so empowering, if that's what you're into. Also, the empowerment of knowing that like no one's gonna yuck your yum here. Like there's no
Mm-hmm.
kink shaming here. And if there is, watch out. Just kidding. But
Yeah, if there is, find another club.
yeah. But yeah, like what are some you were saying like ways to help people feel more confident? Um
No, I like that idea of like what you just said, wear what makes you happy. At least even trying it on, because the fun part of being in the lifestyle is that you're right, it is a French community. There's a lot of people doing a lot of things that a lot of people, the majority, probably aren't aware of are happening behind closed doors
yeah.
or don't even know that it's like a thing.
Yeah.
So there, you're right. There's like that camaraderie, and that also I think kind of raises the bar for when comparison would actually set in. So like
Mhm.
you're saying, wear the dominatrix outfit because more than likely if you go to a lifestyle club and you're in that outfit, you're probably going to get more people coming up to you to talk to you because they're interested and intrigued than you are going to get like the weird looks, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, weird looks,
Mhm.
not allowed in the
Mm-mm.
lifestyle. Unless you're being unless you're, like, touching someone without, like, breaking the rules, but, yeah, no, that's one of the parts of the lifestyle that I've loved so much is learning new things, seeing new things, and understanding from people like new ways of being within the lifestyle. Like relationships can totally shift from, marriages, even like Monday through Friday, regular ass marriage and life. And then like on the weekends, it's like, maybe sub dom or whatever. And I learned so much in that. So yeah, I can't try new things
Yes.
out.
Well, that actually reminds me of one way that makes me feel more confident or has since joining the lifestyle is taking my space. Instead of comparing to what others are doing and thinking would they be okay with this, learning how to own it and take that space whenever you're trying something new because it is so fluid. Like everybody changes constantly,
Yeah.
relationships change, people break up and have new partners. I mean, you're going to grow and evolve throughout your lifetime. Even
Mhm.
us on our goddess journey, we're about to document how that's going to go, like our evolution. People change. So
Totally. And like something else, like it's okay to try something out and to ask questions. And it's like another way to feel more confident in it is like know that you're going to have that sense of comparison, but then how can you transmute that into like curiosity and like learning about someone's relationship or what they're into, something that maybe you've never tried before. And then also to know that your lifestyle is yours to make. Just because you might have one label doesn't mean that you're going to behave in the exact same way as someone else with that label is, if you want to have a label. And maybe this week you guys are, monogamous voyeurs, still part of the lifestyle. Maybe next week you are part of a gangbang, part of the lifestyle, but like make it yours. And if that means
mhm.
in the middle of whatever you're doing, you need to take a break, do that. Like make
Mm-hmm.
it yours every single second.
Exactly. Because it's only yours, and it is such a private, personal journey. It's nobody else's. It's nobody else's business what you do.
Yeah, not at all.
So
Even
yeah.
if you're an exhibitionist, like whatever. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not up to anyone to tell you how to be unless you're a sub and that's what you're asking for.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Exactly. I think another way that people could feel more confident going into the lifestyle and less likely to compare themselves is being more fit, being more active. I know that that's kind of a given, but it really is such a major game changer. Like everybody that comes into the lifestyle, it's amazing. Even, I mean, we did it. I think every couple that I've talked to so far has gone through their own personal journey of fitness since joining the lifestyle,
mhm.
learning just, and it comes back to that innate sense of comparison to all of the people, the dating pool, the lifestyle pool. It just gets bigger. It doesn't necessarily dwindle because of partnerships.
Yeah. Yeah, no, not at all. And I would say, on that note, like, yeah, it's going to help you feel more confident as a person, like just in life in general. When you are taking care of your body, you're going to feel better physically, emotionally. You're going to be able to regulate your emotions better. And Lord knows there is the full fucking gamut of emotions within the lifestyle, and you need to be able to regulate them and know what they are, and like know how to deal with them, moment to moment, because something might happen when you're out and it might trigger you in a way that isn't necessarily positive. And then, when you are taking care of your body and you're taking care of your mind and your emotions, and you can, instead of popping off when that happens, go ahead and take that space for yourself to deal with it. So there's like,
Mm-hmm.
the physical part of it. And then, of course, everyone wants to look good in what they're wearing. So, the more you love yourself, the more people are going to love you, because that's how it works. Like when you love yourself, that calls in more love and it's way more attractive.
Oh, yes. So true. People can tell whenever you love yourself and when you don't. It's
Yes.
magnetic.
Yeah.
And yeah, so taking care of yourself mentally, physically, taking your social media breaks, just limiting what you are taking in and consuming, and acknowledging whenever you are comparing yourself.
Hmm. Definitely. And that actually reminds me of something specific to you, Silver, where I had compared myself and came to this really great realization. So we operate in the lifestyle pretty differently. I mean, sometimes it's similar, but like, you are a way more experienced goddess than I am. Um, in that, and yeah, we move differently, and so um, I love being around you at parties and anytime, all the time. And there was a time at the beginning of our friendship where I felt like, why am I not able to, or why don't I feel as comfortable operating in the same way that Silver does? And like, I'm sexy, I love playing, I love doing all of this stuff, but feeling like there was something wrong with me because I didn't have the same like level of openness or like the same desires. And then it wasn't until like later in the summer that I realized, like, oh my God, no, I get to experience this energy and it totally like benefits me and adds to my experience, but I don't have to be the same. And like, there's nothing wrong with me because I'm not doing the same stuff as Silver in the lifestyle. And it doesn't mean we can't hang out and we're not friends, or like we're not on the same like journey or whatever. And it was like such a good realization for me that like I could hang out with you and I don't have to do all of like the same things. Not and I'm making it sound like you do like a bunch of crazy shit. I don't, but I
I
think
mean, I do a bunch of crazy
you
shit.
actually do. Yes. Yeah. I mean, the number one, the very first interaction with you and your husband, we're at the club, and your husband comes up to mine and goes, "You want to cream pie my wife? You want to cream pie my wife?" And he was like, "What's your wife look like?" And he was like, "Oh, she's hot." Like, G would never. G would never do. It's just so funny, and we love you guys so much for it. So
Oh, that is hilarious.
oh, dang it.
uh, oh my gosh, that's funny. But yeah, we do a lot of crazy stuff. But oh, that's really sweet. Also, I think that it's come with a lot of courage from having a husband that does crazy shit like that.
He's
Not to like
fighting
put it
here
all back on
for
him or anything.
it. Like, bitch, you done this crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, for real. And it's
But
been cool to see you guys grow too.
yeah, and I thank you. It's I know what you mean though, because like I feel like before we even knew you guys, we were told about how you were the cool couple
Aw.
in OKC that everybody wants to be friends with, and so then there was a little bit of pressure whenever we first met you to even like, are they gonna like us? Are they gonna think we're cool? Or so that
Oh.
is extra funny to think about, like that being Jesus's first statement.
Yeah. And that's so cool. I didn't know that people were saying that, but that makes you feel
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. So there was a little bit of pressure there, but
Mhm.
again, I was that whenever we met, it was actually a really good time because it was whenever I was coming to that realization of like I was comparing myself too much to everybody in the lifestyle and putting too much
Mm,
emphasis on my OnlyFans, and it was
mm,
inflating my ego too much. I needed to like hold on, chill with that, and so I had to put it all down, stop,
mm.
and like hold on, what am I doing that is actually interesting and not like just expecting people to like me.
I mean,
You
I
know?
think that you can definitely expect that because you're amazing and you are
Oh,
so unique and you're so your own. And you don't have to do anything for people to like you. So just jot that down.
oh, thank you, Cherry. That's so sweet.
I'm a truther.
Mm. Well, same
But
to
good for
you.
you for knowing that,
Like,
to take that break for your mental health.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and thanks for telling me that story. That's really sweet.
Yeah.
You have nothing to compare against. Trust me, you are a beautiful individual, and I am so lucky to be able to do these podcasts with you, and to get to learn and grow from you. Like, seriously, you are super positive. So it was funny the other night whenever you said, "Look at me being negative." I was like, "What are you talking about?"
It
So
happens. It creeps in there. Those
I
truth
love it.
negatives.
It's just,
Thank
but
you.
you bring such a beautiful ray of light to life. So you
Aw.
also don't have any reason to compare. And I am so happy that like you identified, again, it comes back to the acknowledgement, acknowledging when it's happening. And then I've seen your growth journey since then too. You've exploded. It's been amazing to watch. Like
Aw.
watching you grow into Cherry, and your entire persona is amazing. So I can't
Thanks,
wait to see
babe.
your name change happen also. Yeah.
Thank you. It feels really good.
Yeah, right. And so that's the beauty of having confidence and not needing to compare yourself to anybody, because like you are enough. You are great just as you are.
Yes. And if you find that you're around people that it just continually comes up for you, because there are people that you'll be around that will bring out the competitive side in you, and sometimes that's a good thing and it's really fun, but sometimes it can just really drain you, and it's like, okay, why do I feel like I'm always competing with this person? Is it because they're always saying, comparisons or making like those one upper statements or making me feel like I need to be more than I am? Then that's a good moment to pause on that, relationship or that friendship or whatever, and say, okay, why do I feel like I need to be something different than who I am with this couple or this person? Because I've
Mm-hmm.
been in the lifestyle too. Like, I've definitely been in situations where I'm like feeling like I'm acting, yeah, in a certain way because they're a certain way and I enjoy these people. And so then I'm feeling like, oh, I need to go above and beyond. And I'm not saying like trying something new, is bad at all, but like if it's a consistent thing where I'm like becoming someone that I'm not comfortable with or feeling like I'm acting, that's not
Mm-hmm.
the place that you want to be.
Yeah, and I feel that wives in the lifestyle are the most guilty of comparison because whenever you go on a date, or at least for me,
Hmm.
the majority of the dates we've gone on, the wives usually have like it feels like right off the bat there's a form of comparison usually, and it has held true through almost every single couple date we've gone on. The
Mm.
wife is wearing a sheer see-through shirt without a bra. And it's funny because I typically think about it. In fact, I make jokes with Jesus about it before we get ready for dates now with couples. And I'm like, should I
Yeah.
wear this? I'm like, no, it's okay. That's a little too much. It's a little too slutty to go out on a first date with them. Like, I'm not sure what they're going to think. And then we get there, and then never fails. The wife
Yeah.
is in a sheer see through shirt. And I'm like, okay. And I'm
Interesting.
trying not to compare, but I do wonder if it comes down to trying to like show off right off the bat. And it's like a form of like, like peacocking before we even like meet them.
I hear that. Well, and what I'm also hearing is like you're having that thought process beforehand
So maybe
because
I'm
you're
comparing.
being cognizant about it. Maybe. Because I also like in these situations, I won't necessarily be thinking, oh, I want to do this to show off in a certain way. I just know, oh, this is like a very sexy situation, and I get to dress in my most sexiest stuff, and it's mostly for my husband because I'm like I want him to be with I don't know, like not for my husband, it's for me that I'm wearing it. But I'm not thinking about really like the other woman as much as like I need to be sexier than her. I'm just gonna wear whatever's I feel super fucking hot in.
Hmm.
You know what
Yeah.
I
So
mean?
maybe that's an insecurity that I've built up over the course of multiple dates and feeling like I didn't I
Oh.
didn't wear the sexy thing. Because it's usually like we'll go to dinner and I'll be like, oh man, I should have worn that.
Well, and I'm hearing from you that it's not I'm not necessarily hearing as much like the insecurity side of things as you're cognizant about how the other person's going to feel. Like you don't want her to
Yeah.
feel uncomfortable like you have felt in the past, by other women like by wearing something that maybe made you feel uncomfortable or was like, okay, wow, she went for it. And she might have just
Hmm.
been thinking, I'm just gonna wear my hottest thing because I'm going on an LS date. But you're thinking about I don't want her to feel uncomfortable on
That's
this
true.
first date. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And that comes down to just already being kind of over the top.
I mean, and I'm like, don't dim it down for anybody any second. And I think that's so funny because I love going out with you because I know that I'll feel comfortable wearing whatever the fuck I want to wear. Like we've gone like out to dinner and you're like, yeah, whatever, I'm just gonna wear this to dinner. And it's like a I don't know, like basically like a bikini with like an open skirt, like gauze open skirt or something, and then like your moon boots. I'm like, she's so fucking cool.
Oh
Look how
yeah.
she did that. Yeah. You're like, whatever, this is what I have. And I'm like, you're gonna yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah, I would like to wear crazy things.
Mhm.
Life is way more fun.
Fuck yeah, it
But
is.
yeah, I guess you're right. I think when it comes down to it, like I think I felt compared against so hard at the beginning of the lifestyle that I don't ever want others to feel that. And so then
Mm-hmm.
it's like, yeah, you're probably right. Maybe I should stop dressing
Mm-hmm.
down.
Yeah, definitely. Because you're beautiful and you're different and you're unique and you're magnetic. And it doesn't matter what you do, people are always going to compare themselves to you. And so just own it, baby.
That's true. People
That's how I
compare. It's
feel.
a natural part of life.
Yeah, you got it.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you, Cherry. You're so sweet. Well, I want to move on to some questions for you.
Okay.
So, how do you define beauty or success on your own terms?
Mm, that is something like I have to look inside for that. Um, Yeah, so beauty to me, really, I see beauty in the people that are exactly who they are, that I don't get this sense that they are trying to be a certain way or a certain, I don't know, look a certain way or act a certain way or be something other than they're not. Like when people are just their genuine, most authentic selves, even if like some would say they're not necessarily beautiful by society standards, like for me, it's just so attractive. Um, so that's how I define beauty truly is like when you feel beautiful, that's then you're beautiful.
Yeah.
And success is, I think, kind of like in the same vein. Like for some people, success is having a ton of money, but also success for me is like hitting goals. If you're achieving goals, then you're a successful person. If you have love in your life, I think that you're a successful person. Um yeah, for it's very, both beauty and success are very energetic for me. Um
So when it comes to meeting new people in the lifestyle, would you prefer beauty or success over the other?
mm,
Or would you prefer that they be their most authentic self and
yeah,
expect
there
no
was
comparison?
exactly that. Really. I mean, get, and that's something that I've learned, like being in the lifestyle. Because maybe at first it was like, oh, well, I only am gonna mess around with hot guys, or like only hanging out with the hot girls, or like it wasn't never like, oh, they have to be of a certain socioeconomic status. But of course, there's, you can typically do like more things that from time to time, like with people that are wealthier or whatever. But even then, I've hung out with very disingenuous, very quote unquote successful or wealthy people, and that felt awful. And I'm like, I never want to do that again. So every time it's going to be who is the most authentic. And then, yeah, that's like my marker. And then I guess, because we are allowed to be picky in this, it's extra and on top. So humor is something, confidence is very sexy to me
Hmm.
without it being arrogant.
Yes. Yeah. I call it like peacocking. I guess I think I said it earlier, but like when I define peacocking, it's like showing off something, a status or a wealth symbol, like your house, your car, something materialistic, just for the sake of showing off who you are because you think it makes you look better.
Yeah.
And personally, it's like one of the most frustrating things to me.
I mean, I guess sometimes I'm like, fuck it. Like, I'm not gonna spend the rest of my life with you. Good for you. I love that boat. That boat's awesome. I want to get on that boat, actually. But
That's
then
true.
but then it can bite you in the ass, because then, like, we talked about that those people can sometimes be like just the fucking assholes. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
because they're
because
so used to so many people being like, "Oh wow, yeah, you are this flashy person with all of these things, and what can I do for you?" Like, cuz so I can be in your circle, and it's just this like made up social construct, like drawing people to this person, and then they're like, "I really am the shit." And it's like, but then they treat people badly, and then if I see that, I'm out.
exactly. Yeah. I hate being stuck in that scenario too. So, what strategies do you use then to refocus on your own journey instead of someone else's?
When I am like really comparing myself to other people, yeah, I'll take a step back and ask myself why. And a lot of times, like, comparison comes from fear, I think, like fear that we're not good enough or we're not going to measure up to someone else. And it's like, well, why am I afraid that I'm not going to measure up to that person? Like diving into that fear and like asking myself, or if it's another woman that my husband is like really vibing with, and I'm really comparing myself with her and maybe experiencing some jealousy or something, then it's like, okay, what am I afraid of there? Because like this isn't me, and this feeling is here. What am I afraid of? Am I afraid that he's going to leave me? And if the answer is yes, then we have a bigger issue. Because then
True.
why the fuck are we in the lifestyle to begin with? Because if you have a fear that your partner is going to leave you for someone in the lifestyle, my advice is don't fucking be in the lifestyle right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get that fixed. And so
Yep.
for me, that answer is always no. And then I'm like, oh shit, okay. So what am I afraid of? Like, why am I comparing myself with her? Because I know who I'm going home with. And then, no, I'm the shit. Okay. And like that helps me get back on track. And then also, yeah, like sometimes it's just hard to get out of that spiral. So I'll go look at myself and tell myself that I love myself and that I am beautiful. And then if
Yeah.
it's still too bad, then I'm going to probably go to my partner and be like, hey, I'm like really in my head right now and I need some clarity. I'm not having it. Can you give it to me? Like,
Yes.
this is what I'm feeling.
Communication. That is of utmost importance. So, on that note, what is one piece of advice that you would give to new people in the lifestyle that are struggling with their self-worth because they feel surrounded by more beautiful or successful people?
Mm, I would say turning inward. The more that you can take care of yourself and love yourself, the less the comparison and judgment of others is going to affect you and stick to you. And to also know that there really is no rhyme or reason in the lifestyle because people are in it for a bunch of different reasons and there's a bunch of people. And so sometimes it's just finding your people as well, just like in regular life. So, yeah, when you're getting stuck in that comparison, it's asking yourself why, turning inward, how can you love yourself better? And then finding the people that you don't feel like you're comparing yourself around and keeping an open mind because we might cut people off like or not want to pursue a friendship or something with someone because we have already assumed a bunch of things that might not be true at all. And
Mm-hmm.
talking to people and just telling them, being like, I mean, I've definitely gone up to people and been like, oh my god, I'm so intimidated by you, you are gorgeous. And then a lot of times they come back and give it back to you. So that's a way to get over it too.
That's true. Just go straight for it and just go up and tell them the compliment. I
Hmm.
love that.
And never talk bad about yourself ever. Don't ever, like, not to yourself, not to your partner, not to anyone else, because that does nothing for anyone and that just continues to like reinforce the bullshit that you have going on in your head. So
Exactly, exactly. Don't talk negative about yourself. And if you can provide those compliments to others whenever you have those thoughts that are like a boost for you look beautiful. I would love to get to know you more and let them reciprocate. The lifestyle is full of people that want to give those compliments, which I've found very endearing.
yes, it's the best.
Sometimes it can be too much, but usually it's endearing.
Yeah, I feel that too.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Cherry, for being on this episode of Lifestyle 101, the Open Door Diaries. I'm so happy that you're able to talk to me about comparison. It's just so painful. I hate dealing with it. It can
Yeah,
really ruin some really good times. So
yeah.
thanks for being here.
Oh my god, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, in conclusion, people tend to showcase their best moments. Instead of envying their green grass, just focus on watering and nurturing your own lawn. It might not be picture perfect now, but with time and care, it'll thrive in its own way. No filter needed.
Ooh.
So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Silver Luna's Vault. Also, my friend Cherry is the co-host of Going Goddess. So don't forget to check out our podcast, Going Goddess, at Going Goddess Podcast on Instagram and YouTube at Going Goddess Podcast at gmail.com. So thanks for being here. Until next time, keep shining.